Hello, hello.
What was that? Welcome to...
A travel video.
Yeah, it's a travel video. Even though this happened a couple years ago, I had all this footage and photography that I really wanted to share, and we thought we would sit down and kind of tell you some of our favorite things or least favorite things about where we visited. So the plan of this road trip was to drive from Inverness to Bruges, and then to Amsterdam, and then back to Inverness. And we had 2 nights in Bruges and 3 nights in Amsterdam?
Two nights in Bruges, 3 in Amsterdam.
Yeah, it was. It was just one too many in Amsterdam, if you ask.
Yeah.
I wish we had switched it, 3 nights in Bruges.
We started out, we left Inverness at ridiculous o'clock in the morning.
Was that when I forgot my cameras? Or was that a different road trip?
No, that was a different road trip.
Oh, okay, never mind. Ignore that.
Yeah, we started off at ridiculous o'clock in the morning, leaving from Inverness, travelling down to Dover to get the ferry across to Dunkirk, that we got the ferry across to.
France. Yeah. And so basically we drove from like North Scotland down to the bottom of the UK.
To the very bottom of the UK, pretty much, yeah.
So the Scotland part of the road, that trip was beautiful, the road trip part. And then when we were driving through England, it was just kind of flat. We got to Dover right at sunset, so we had beautiful light, and we got on the ferry about when it got dark.
Yeah, just as it was getting dark, and Sarah loved
the
ferry crossing.
I discovered during this trip that I get very seasick.
Yeah.
So I was basically horizontal the whole time. I couldn't move. We drove from the ferry part of France. So our ferry landed, or that's not what you say, we parked. The ferry docked. And we drove straight to Bruges, and we got there pretty late. We were kind of like in the center of the old part of Bruges, and the roads were so tiny.
They're built for horse and cart. Really, they are.
Yeah, and there were like people parked on one side, and you had to like squeeze through. It was really scary.
And the Volvo doesn't have a good turning
circle. No, you could definitely get stuck in there if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Or end up with a lot of scratches on your car. We got into our hotel, had a really chill night, and I woke up early, of course. I had to see the sunrise, which, since it was January, it was pretty late in the morning. So I just walked around until you woke up. And we actually only stayed in that hotel that one night, so we had to check out, and then we had to drive to the next place. We got into the next hotel, and we spent the whole day just wandering the streets. It was freezing cold. We stopped in a lot of restaurants and cafes just to get out of the cold.
It was,
but it was beautiful.
Bruges wasn't nearly as cold
as Amsterdam. Yeah, Bruges was bearable.
Yeah, Bruges was pretty. I mean, we wandered around outside for a bit, but yeah, we would go into
we went somewhere to get lunch, early dinner, and then we went back to the hotel.
Yeah, so you're in basically waffle country. So there was a lot of places that we were walking past, and there was like displays of chocolate or displays of baked goods, and
every street smelled so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
it is a well-baited hook.
I'm fine with it. Oh, I had some of the best... Well, that was the best waffle of my life. I still fantasize about it. Oh, and we found a vegetarian vegan place after lots of Googling. I mean, they had other things besides
Yeah, they had lots.
vegan.
They had lots
They had a lot
and
of
lots
things.
of stuff.
It was like a healthy restaurant.
It was an alternative restaurant.
Yeah,
It was they wanted to try something different, and I am all for trying different things. I will try something at least once just to give it a bash. It's how I know that I really don't like jellyfish.
But
what I had at this restaurant, it was just called a bug burger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was called a bug burger.
And what I had, imagined in my head was that they were going to bring out this patty, and it would just be like with full of like ground up bugs that I couldn't see, and I thought that'll be fine. I won't be able to see it. I'll eat it. I'll have tried it, but no. No, this thing came out with little mealworms and maggots kind of things like hanging out of it.
Grasshoppers.
Yeah,
like full heads. You can see the whole head.
I bit into it at one point and like pulled it away, and there was like this little guy just like staring back at me. This little grasshopper dude just staring at me, and I was like, it was hard going, but do you know what? Like, it was fine. It was tasty. It was.
I'm trying not to like.
It was a bit
freak
crunchy.
Out, but you can tell I'm freaking out.
It was a bit crunchy, obviously.
Oh god!
But it was pretty good.
And I had some healthy thing. It was fine. We had lots of beer, lots of treats everywhere we went, and we spent like a half an hour wandering around finding a restaurant for dinner that had pesto, because I was just dying for pesto. But it was nice doing that because the lights at night, there's so many lights everywhere, and the canals are all lit up. It was so romantic and dreamy, and it's like the perfect medieval experience, like I guess it's one of the oldest medieval standing medieval cities in Europe.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's a really cool place to visit.
I mean, certainly the centre of town, you would genuinely think that you'd woken up.
Yeah, if it wasn't for like the modern stuff, like cars and
cars.
But there's so many good doors in Bruges. I'm obsessed with doors, and I do a lot of door photography. I have hundreds, if not thousands, of door photos, and everywhere we turned, I was like, "Look at this door!" and I took a photo. And
that's why Bruges was cold. Because we couldn't walk more than 3 steps without stopping to take 40 photos of doors.
It was so beautiful. And we lucked out with weather. It didn't rain. Maybe it was like misty at one point, but we had mostly sun.
Yeah,
we were only there. We were only there for 2 nights, and I wish we had done Bruges longer. After Bruges, we drove to Amsterdam, which is going to be next week's video. What was your favorite thing about Bruges?
The fact that I've tried a bug burger is always going to stick out in my head, like in Bruges.
It's a strong memory.
And it wasn't disgusting or anything, so it's not like it's
just such a strange experience. You go to Bruges and you have a bug burger, and that's like the strongest memory.
Yeah. Yours was breakfast.
Oh, my favorite was breakfast.
Like
breakfast is always my favorite thing. But actually, I think my true favorite thing about Bruges was the architecture, the city itself. Amazing, it was just a photographer's and an urban sketcher's and a painter's dream. And if we had gone in a warmer month and stayed a little longer, I really want to go back, basically. Like, I'm dying to go back to Bruges. It was so magical.
That big square in the town centre as well, that's really awesome.
That was really cool.
That's worth going to see.
Yeah. Bruges is definitely one of my all-time favorite places.
Definitely.
And we need to go back in the warmer month. What was your least favorite thing about Bruges?
The roads, probably. I think the second hotel that we stayed in was a little bit nicer, but I remember the hotels not being great.
We went on a budget.
We did, yeah.
We went on a budget.
Yeah.
We booked the cheapest hotels, and
we got the cheapest hotels.
They were sort of uncomfortable, and it was loud right outside the window because we were right in town.
Yeah.
You know, you could have a much better experience if you spend a little more.
Probably.
And maybe plan your location a little better. But the great thing about our location was it was walking distance to everything. We just wanted to be in the main part, the old part, and we had that, so that was nice. My least favorite thing was, I guess, the cold, because it meant I couldn't experience it the way I would have wanted to. Nothing I can do about that, and it's not Bruges' fault. But it was just so beautiful that if it was warmer, I would have done way more photography, and I would have painted and sketched. Then we left Bruges late morning and drove to Amsterdam. But we're going to tell you about Amsterdam next week.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Oh my god.
No.
So thank you for watching. We'll see you next week. What are you doing?